G'day and welcome to Oly35mm, user-based, quasi-empirical, cheap and cheerful videos on Olympus branded 35mm, in this case OM lenses. And today I'm going to talk to you about the long zooms that come into the Zuiko stable. These are all for the OM system, and there is 5 out of the 6, although there is a 70-210 which was made by Cosina, which wasn't really, even though it was Zuiko branded, wasn't really considered to be a Zuiko lens. And I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit average. I had a version of it. I've since sold it, so I won't be showing that to you today. However, I do have the others that are actually on offer, and that is the 75-150, which is the one right here at the end, the 50-250, wonderful 5x zoom there, 65-200, 100-200, and the massive, although not particularly heavy, 85-250. Now let me take those off to the side just for a moment so I can talk about them individually. And we'll start off with the 75-150. As far as I know, the 75-150 I think lasted the entire time, the entire production run of Olympus OM system. It is a 2x zoom. It's a 2-part zoom. There's 2 2-part zooms. The other ones are push-pulls or single zooms. It is the easiest one to find. If you can pick one up for $50, then that's great. If you pay any more, I'm personally thinking that you're paying too much. It's probably the least favourite of mine of the long zooms. It's quite flat, so it's not very contrasty, and the image quality is alright, but not as good as the others, so it's not quite as sharp as the others. It has a built-in hood. In fact, all of them have built-in hoods, and it is a 49mm filter mount, so that's quite handy. This is, I think, is let me have a look here, 311211. Okay, so that's, I don't know, maybe somewhere, a third of the way through the run or a quarter of the way through the run or something. I don't know of these things. It's probably a fairly old one. Multi-coated ones may be a little bit better. It is a constant f4, which is nice, I suppose, and it's actually not all that light, but it's certainly a nice size in the hand, and actually fits quite well on Olympus film cameras, and also on the larger mirrorless cameras, so it actually feels quite good when you're actually using it. But image quality is a little bit average, I'm afraid. Okay, the 65-200, this is probably the only long zoom that I'll keep in the collection, and it will mainly be for my film usage. It is, like I said, it's a one-touch zoom. It's f4, constant aperture, which is very nice. It is reasonably heavy and doesn't fit all of that well on the mirrorless cameras. I don't think it feels too front heavy. 55mm filter, and it has a close focus at the 200mm mark. So where am I? 200mm is down this way, sorry, close focus at the 200mm mark, built-in lens hood, like all of the rest. It's not as contrasty as some of the others, but you can of course do that or fix that in post-processing. F4 through to F32, sorry. All in all, quite versatile, and I don't mind it. It's not too bad. The 50-250 f5 also has a close focus at the 250 setting, and this is actually opposite the 65-200. 250 is actually at the front rather than at the back. They actually push away to bring things forward. I find that the 65-200 sort of makes a bit more sense by pulling things towards you, but anyway, doesn't really matter. Whatever you like. Close focus setting there. Otherwise, you're talking about 1.8 meters as a minimum focus distance, and that's compared to the 1.2, which is another benefit of the 65-200. f5 constant aperture through to f32, so it's about 2/3 of a stop slower than the f4 version of the 65-200, but it does have that extra range of 50 through to 250. It is a little bit sharper, but it is certainly more contrasty than the 65-200. Quite a good deal. Probably around about the same weight as the 65-200, and really only a little bit, tiny bit bigger. A bit hard to show you here on the on this video, but they are roughly around about the same size. Okay, the 100-200. It's an f5. It focuses down, unfortunately, only down to about 2.4 meters, so you have to be a fair old distance away. There is no close focus function on this, so that is something that holds this one back a little bit. It's also only a 2x zoom, 100-200, built-in lens hood. However, it is a 49mm filter, which is a bonus. Constant f5 through to f32, but this is a lovely lens to use. In fact, this one actually isn't mine. I've actually borrowed this. This is a very contrasty, sharp little lens, and so do not discount it for the ones with the bigger zoom range, because this is a very, very nice little lens, and if you don't mind that it's got a fairly poor close focus distance, this will suit you very, very well, and quite often they are overlooked, and you can pick them up for a bit of a bargain out there on the second-hand market. So don't overlook this one at all. This is a very, very nice little lens. I like using this a lot, and quite a bit lighter than the other two as well. Now you have the biggie, the 85-250. This is an older style lens. It is a two-part zoom and focus, so two separate rings. It is an f5, constant f5, and through to f32. It is that long and large. It has its own tripod mount. Be careful, you can actually take these off, so make sure if you actually buy one that you get the one with the tripod mount on it, or that you know that you're getting it for the right price if it hasn't got a tripod mount, so don't get caught out there. And this tripod mount also fits some other lenses as well, hence people taking it off and selling it. It has a minimum focus distance of 2 meters, and although it's quite long, especially when you pull out the hood, although it's quite long, it's actually not particularly heavy, and this actually feels very nice on the film cameras and also the larger mirrorless cameras, but it's certainly not my preferred zoom out of the ranges. So it's probably, bar the 75-150 that I don't really like at all, it's probably the next least interesting to me anyway. But if you can pick it up from the right price, and you pick any of these things up for the right price, then they're good value, I suppose. So 85-250, 50-250, 65, whoops, here we go, nearly dropped that, 65-200, 100-200, a little bit of a pick for me, I like that one a lot, and the 75-150 are the 5 big range zooms in the Olympus OM stable. Like the short zooms, if you've seen my other video on the shorter zooms, I probably wouldn't use these on digital, but they work reasonably well on film. It's entirely up to you, but I would tend to use the modern digital lenses that are designed for the digital sensor cameras these days. Anyway, that's your lot for today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.